Welcome back to Conversations on Deck, and today is Cheers Thursday, folks. We're looking at this 1971 Topps card. Those are, I like the design. I like the black border. Problem is they get dinged up really quick. But if you've got a nice sharp one like I do here, it looks pretty cool, and it's got the rookie cup on there. So, way to go, Billy. And Billy Canigliaro, he had a great 1970 season. That's how he got the Rookie Cup. He was born August 15th, 1947, in Revere, Massachusetts. He was one of two younger brothers of Tony Canigliaro's, great Red Sox legend. And, you know, Billy played 3 years with the Boston Red Sox. He had a 5-year career, very short, but 3 years with the Sox, that's pretty good. In 1971, he was 23 years old. He played in 101 games. He was an outfielder. He had 42 runs, 92 hits, 26 doubles, 11 homers, 33 ribbies, 25 walks, 68 Ks, and a 262 batting average. So not bad, 71. 70 was better. And then here's what Tony C said about his brother. Now, Tony C was a couple of years older than Billy and had made a huge impact on Boston. So much so that people were thinking Tony was going to be the next Ted Williams. But unfortunately for Tony, in 1967, in August, before the playoffs hit for the Red Sox, he got hit. He was right-hand batter, got hit by a pitcher from the California Angels, and it hit him right in the face. It broke his cheekbone, dislocated his jaw, fractured that socket around his eye, and he had retina damage, and that knocked him out of baseball for all of 67 and 68. And then he tried to make a comeback. He did in 69 and 70, 71, but just was not the same. But Tony C was revered in Boston. Here's what he said about his brother Billy when Billy was coming up spring training in 1969. He's not here because of my name. He won his place himself. He's learning every day, and his greatest asset is his quick pair of hands. It was always Tony this, Tony that, up to now. But he's showing people there are other ball players in the Canigliaro family. End quote. You know what? I think, I come from a family of 10 kids, and I grew up hearing about my older brothers and sisters. And after a while, it's a drag when you hear, well, they did this, they did that. Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And it's like, hey, accept me for who God made me to be. I'm not, my older brothers. Now, was I able to accomplish some of the same things that they did? Yeah, absolutely. But, I want to be my own person. I want to be known by my own words, my own actions. And, that's, I think that's an honorable thing. Riding on the coattails because of your last name, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the good old boy network. I'm more of a fan of earning it. Okay, so here's a couple more Billy facts for you. We're going to stop talking about Tony. We're going to talk about Billy. He loved astronomy. Who doesn't love astronomy? Looking up at the sky. I remember one of my older brothers, his name is John, was in the astronomy club at our high school, and I wasn't in high school yet. I was 5 years younger than him. And he would take me to the astronomy club in the dead of winter, and our school had a telescope, in one of those like dome things outside. I don't even know what it's called. And I remember going out there and looking at the stars and thinking, that is pretty cool. And I'll tell you too, here in the winter in Alaska, looking up at the stars, it's just unbelievable. Anyways, back to Billy. He was an accomplished, high school pitcher, threw some no-hitters. Loved karate. Yeah, that's pretty cool. In 1970, he played in the outfield with his brother. Kind of replaced Yaz. Yaz went to first. But unfortunately, Billy feuded with Yaz and Reggie Smith. So that wasn't kind of cool there either. All right, let's get to another another Billy wisdom quote here. This is what he said about his brother, Tony. I don't know if people realize how hard Tony worked to get to the big leagues and how hard he worked to stay there. He would spend hours swinging a lead bat or squeezing a ball. End quote. You know, a lot of times when you have a sibling and you get to spend time with them, you get to see the real person. You don't get to see, what other people see, the finished product. And I think it's cool too, the experience of being able to play 2 seasons in the outfield with your brother. That's pretty cool. You know, I remember doing some things with one of my older brothers. We coached cross country running together for a couple of years, and that was great. You know, we shared a lot of time by ourselves and with a large group of high school runners, and those are fond memories. Never going to forget those, and just super cool. And you could tell that Tony and Billy had a bond. And then final quote here. This is a quote that I think resonates with so many of us who love baseball or who were kids and played in little league or just played in the neighborhood. Here's what he said. Quote, "My mother could never find a broom handle. We were always cutting them off for stickball." End quote. I think that's hilarious, and they probably drove their mom nuts. But their parents were very supportive of the baseball. And I remember as a kid, we had a lot of kids in the neighborhood, and we just play baseball right out in the front of the street, and you just go for it. And being a busy neighborhood, this is kind of one of those memories that I'd say generations of kids remember hearing. Car! And then what do? You just stop what you're doing, get on the side of the street, and once the car goes right by, boom, you're back playing, and then all of a sudden you hear car. Those are some of the ingrained memories you'll never forget. And I think that's cool. That's a great experience. So thank you for spending Cheers Thursday with me. Cheers to you all in the hobby. Cheers to the Boston Red Sox. They're doing great. What a streak they have going. And cheers to all the people that are going about their business, doing an honest day's work, and serving other people. Have a great day, folks.